At the 2006 World Cup in Germany, Italy would win the final after a dramatic penalty shootout win over France. And yet their victory, and really the whole competition, was overshadowed by a single act in that game, and the shocking departure of one of football's true modern greats. At the 2004 European Championship, Zinedine Zidane had been part of a French team who were unexpectedly eliminated in the quarter-final by eventual winners Greece. Following that exit, many of the players who remained from the World Cup win in 1998 and the Euro 2000 success retired, including Zidane, who, at 32 years old, announced his intention to focus solely on Real Madrid, where he was the centrepiece of Florentino Perez's Galacticos project. But just over a year later, with France stumbling through qualification for the 2006 World Cup, Zidane announced on his official website that he was returning to international football. At 33, he was still one of the finest players in the world, and coach Raymond Domenech immediately restored him to the national team and made him captain. France didn't enter the tournament without star power, and Zidane wasn't the only former great to return to the side. Nevertheless, Domenech's team were less than convincing. They drew with Switzerland and South Korea in their group and needed a win over Togo to progress to the knockout rounds, a game for which Zidane was suspended. And aside from the occasional velvet touch and artful through ball, there was little suggestion that he was going to have any significant impact on the tournament. But that would change in the second round. France fell behind against Spain but would equalise before half-time. In the final 10 minutes, Patrick Vieira would head in a Zidane free kick to give France the lead before, in stoppage time, Zidane himself would slalom past Carlos Puyol and score to make the game safe. But Zidane's quarter-final performance against Brazil would be among his very best for the country. Ahead of the tournament, the South Americans were heavily favoured, and with a forward line of Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Adriano and Kaká, they deserved both their billing and their aura. But again, it would be Zidane's day. He created the game's only goal for Thierry Henry, but the value of his performance was in its tone. With his stepovers and mesmerising pieces of skill, which not only kept the ball away from Brazil, but also challenged the perception of their superiority. In the belief that it provided and the tenor of its ego, it remains one of the great World Cup performances. Now, by the semi-finals, France were certainly looking like a team of destiny, and Zidane, who would be retiring from all forms of the game at the tournament's end, was easily their most important player. Naturally, it was he who converted the penalty against Portugal to send France through to the final in Berlin to face Italy. And the stage was set. The Italians had rather ground their way through the tournament, progressing through their defensive strength. They'd knocked out host nation Germany in the semi-final, but were still presumed a prop within Zidane's grander fairy tale. And after just 7 minutes, the final did seem set to be a coronation. France were awarded a penalty, and Zidane made a mockery of Gianluigi Buffon's reputation as one of the world's greatest goalkeepers by scoring with a casual Panenka that kissed the crossbar and bounced down just over the line. However, the Italians would equalise, with Marco Materazzi heading in a corner. The game's major protagonists had emerged, and there would be no more goals. Now, Materazzi had a reputation. He was a tough tackling and physical defender, but he also knew how to get under an opponent's skin. Beyond his technical abilities, Zidane had a reputation too. He had a temper, and his long career had occasionally been blighted by petulance. Just after half-time in extra time, the inevitable clash occurred. While the television cameras initially missed it, replays showed Zidane and Materazzi exchanging words, and then Zidane running past Materazzi, before seemingly, in response to one last comment, the Frenchman turned and headbutted the Italian square in the chest. Materazzi crumpled to the floor, and after checking with his assistant referee, the ref produced a red card. 5 minutes before, Zidane had been denied a potential winning goal by an excellent Buffon save, and that might have been the perfect end to his career. As it was, the last anyone saw of him on a football pitch was in the moments after his sending off, when he trudged forlornly past the World Cup trophy on the sideline, down the tunnel into retirement, and into a dressing room from where he could only watch the Italians win on penalties. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic brings you the best sports journalism in the world in a personalised experience, connecting you with the stories and teams that you care about the most. There's coverage of 13 sports, plus direct access to world-class journalists through live Q&As, discussions and podcasts. And you can try it now for free for 30 days by clicking the link in the description.